Hi everyone, I hope this video finds you safe and well. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Josh. I'm a solicitor within the education group at Forbes Solicitors. My particular area of expertise is employment law and HR. However, most of you will be aware the education group here at Forbes does encompass a full range of legal services for education providers. That includes governance, procurement and information, health and safety and risk management, dispute resolution, for example, contractual disputes and reputation management issues, and also property matters. This short video will be part of a weekly series which I intend to do, within which I'll share with you some tips for dealing with the issues that might crop up throughout what's become known as Lockdown 3.0. As much as the global pandemic has become somewhat synonymous with surprises and last-minute announcements, which have come in the shape or form of government stroke DFE guidance, which consistently seems to change often without much warning. It does strike me that everyone has done a remarkable job in adjusting to the new ways of working and the new issues which have cropped up in the current circumstances. So that being said, whilst we've dealt with new challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown at us in the education sector, it's imperative that we don't lose focus of the more day-to-day issues that might be at risk of being put to the bottom of the pile, so to speak, as we enter into a new lockdown. That brings me to my first tip, and the tip for this week's video, which is making sure to keep an eye on absence, making sure that you manage absence, notwithstanding that much of your workforce might not necessarily be required to physically attend school to carry out their duties. You might have those niggly long-term absences that might have gone a long time without any contact. You might think, could you make contact with that staff member to organise a welfare catch-up call, which you might have been putting off for some time? You might have been meaning to refer one of your staff members to occupational health, but yet you haven't managed to get around to doing that because other things might well have got in the way, and that's certainly understandable. Have frequent patterns of absence changed now that the majority of your staff might have been asked to carry out more remote working sort of aspects of the duties? If that is the case, then you might still need to arrange for a return to work meeting to take place via Zoom or Teams. It's arguably, I think, now more important than ever in the times that we find ourselves in to actively safeguard the mental health and well-being of staff members whilst the pandemic and lockdown seem to be enduring, as it does have a substantial and often detrimental effect on the mental health and well-being of those staff members. This is particularly important for you in the education sector, who've been put under tremendous pressure on the front line of the country's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, long-term absence, or for that matter, persistent short-term absence, as it might be, is something that has a huge potential to have a detrimental effect on the workforce in a number of ways. But the key thing I think to remember here is that absences become a lot harder to deal with when they become long-term. So it's ever important to consider nipping those things in the bud before they have the opportunity to become into a greater problem. Now, as lockdown 3.0 might present further challenges, as I said, it's important not to neglect absence issues moving forward in order to avoid those issues festering and becoming long-term problems, because who knows what is going to happen throughout this new lockdown, what issues it's going to throw at us. I know there's been talk of schools being required to test put in place rapid testing on very short notice and with very minimal guidance, or there's been talk of vaccinations having to be being done in the not too distant future. So with those new things coming to the forefront, it's important, as I said before, not to put the usual issues that you would deal with to the bottom of the pile. Now that brings me to the end of this short video on the tips of how to deal with things in lockdown 3.0. There will be videos, hopefully on a weekly basis, to give you more tips on what things to look out for during the course of the new lockdown. If you'd like to discuss any issues that you might require support with, feel free to get in touch with us using the contact details, which I hope are going to appear on your screen shortly. We're currently offering free one-to-one sessions with a solicitor from the education group, so make sure you get in touch with us and get one of those booked in. Thanks very much for listening, and hope everyone stays well.